Token M. Token M. Token M.
Oh, goddamn. All right, let's see what we got. We got some YouTube traders.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Maine here, back with another update. I'm feeling much better. Last week, holy fuck, I was pretty sick. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I think I got COVID, to be honest with you, in the big 2025, because I have no taste and no smell right now. Like, it's completely gone. So that sucks. But feeling a lot better, a little bit of brain fog. Enough bitching and moaning. Let's get into it. So, my idea, right, last week was that we were going to get a push-up, right? We were going to get a push-up. Oh, I'm not even showing the chart here. Let's get that going. That's important. My idea last week was that we were going to get a push-up. That was kind of the thesis when we were trading right down here. So I'm just going to actually delete. I'll just do this. Right, we were trading right below this breaker. I had marked out this low, and I'd marked out this low. And I said, I'm looking for one of three scenarios, right? Scenario number one is just a reclaim of this breaker, stop below here. That's scenario one, move up towards, I only thought maybe into here. We've obviously pushed through there now, right? Scenario number two was reject here, sweep this low, and then get a low. Didn't obviously come through. And then scenario number three was either a move up or a reject here and a sweep of this low, and then the move up. So ultimately, I wasn't looking to short. I was actually looking for opportunities to long. And the flip of the H12 breaker ended up triggering on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. And, you know, blame it on being sick. I just didn't get in. I spent the rest of the week saying, okay, I told myself on Sunday, I told you guys, if we break through this breaker, it's a long and your stop goes here. Same with ETH, right? They're both super clean. Instead of just doing that, right, what happened? Well, we broke through the breaker, right? We broke through the breaker here. And I said, okay, we're moving up now. Well, if we pull back from here into the breaker, maybe you can find a low time frame long. I didn't take one. And then we pushed up again, and I said, okay, maybe we'll run, you know, one of these lows here, and then I'll long. Didn't happen. And then we pushed up again, and then on my last video, I was like, hey, if we get a run of like this low here, that will be the long. And of course, it just went up and up and up. It just did not give me the entry. And looking back, right, what's nice about doing these videos for me is I can look back at my analysis on Sunday, and I can say, okay, it's been a week. The move is played out. How did I execute? Did I stick to my trading plan? Did I do the things I said I was going to do? And the answer in every instance here is no. I told myself I would long if we did this. I didn't do it. Right? And it's as simple as that. So poor execution, did not follow through with my own analysis, and that happens, okay? I've been doing this for damn near 10 years now. I still make mistakes all the time. One of the things you see going on Twitter right now is a bunch of people are dunking on Ansem. Gut says we talked. Gut says we're going to do this. And he's got his reasoning for where he thinks price is going to go. He says, I think we're going to dump here. Guess what happened? It didn't do that. And now he's bull posting. Everyone's going, you were just saying it's going to go down. Now you're saying it's going to go up. It's like, that's how fucking trading works. So anyone who's calling out Ansem other than a meme is a retard. They're an idiot. They don't know what they're talking about. He had a trade idea. It was wrong. And now he's got a new idea because price has done something which has wiped out these highs. His idea is invalidated. He thought we were going to make a lower high here. Guess what? I thought we might make a lower high here too. I posted that setup. I said, technically, this is a weekly H12 setup. Your invalidation is here. Well, guess what? It's been invalidated. So a sign of a true trader and an honest operator is someone who's more than willing to be like, I was fucking wrong, and roll with the punches, on to the next trade. And that's just for CT. I'm just saying most of these people are idiots. I made that tweet today. Be like, man, it seems like everyone on here, because they're all clowning on Ansem, just never get anything wrong. Not any of you, right? Everyone's just right all the time, right? So, surprise, surprise, most of these people are idiots. They don't actually fucking trade. They're going to bull post nonstop, and then when the top's in, they're going to bull post all the way down and give back any money they probably didn't even make. It's okay to be wrong, right? The key is having an invalidation and then having the ability to flip your bias when your idea is invalidated and make a new plan. So I'm more than happy to admit I had the right bias early on in the week. I just didn't execute well. It is what it is. On to the next one. And the reason I'm sharing you this is not to fucking dick ride on Ansem, right? It's to
So
tell
don't be.
you that you do not need to listen to these idiots on Twitter because they're always going to appear that they're never wrong. Oh my God, he was short and it went up. He's an idiot. He must be broke. Like, don't listen to these people. If you're actually in this game to learn and to make money and to trade, realize that 99% of CT is broke. They have no money. They have no idea what they're doing. The only way they can make money is if everything goes up at the exact same time. That's the only way they make money. Maybe Bitcoin goes up, well, they're holding alts that are down, underperforming. Maybe they're fucking long Bitcoin and it's going sideways and then alts are outperforming. Like, the only way most of these people make money is if literally everything is going up at the same time. Okay? And when it goes down, they give it all back anyways. So you, who's trying to learn, trying to trade, trying to make money, realize you're going to be wrong a lot and it's okay. It's normal. I've done very well this bull run. You guys have seen it through these videos. We've been bullish the entire bull run, catching all the big moves basically. Not all of them, but a lot of them, especially the major swings. I fucked this one up. You think I care? No. I'm going to fuck up another one in the future. Like, it is what it is, okay? So, with that said, we now have new information in front of us, right? Price has now made a new high. So, I think the charts are telling us a pretty clear picture here, right? If I can get back my levels. Okay, I guess not. I'll just make new ones. So we had, oh, I just did this. Look at that. We had this old, I'm going to make these all new just because I like you guys so much, okay? We had our bullish order block here on the weekly, right? Down candle before the up move that broke structure. So my entire reason for being a bull down here, even though I longed early here and I got stopped, and then I fucked up this one. So I had the right idea, but I fucked it up. Was that this is the down candle for the up move that broke structure. Therefore, a retest here, the higher low should form here. Now, I thought, well, this low seems like a little too easy. Like, Bitcoin usually gives us those sweeps, right? Like, we usually get like a fucking sweep before the actual move to just fake out the people who thought they caught the bottom. And I thought we were going to get that again, and we didn't. So I ended up missing the move. It is what it is. But the thesis was quite simple. This is where the higher low is going to form, based on the weekly chart. So we want to be looking for longs here. That's what we were doing. Well, now it's clearly formed a higher low, and we're attempting to break out here. Right? We're attempting to make a higher high. Right? So if this weekly candle, you could argue we have made a higher high relative to here. Right? But we're in the process of moving up on the weekly here, right? You got these two highs here. We've broken and closed through one. We're potentially going to break higher high above this one. So the old weekly range was here to here. This was your market structure level. As long as we didn't close below here, the weekly's bullish. Well, if we're able to make a higher high here, let's say this week closes up here, now we have a new weekly range. And then what are we going to do? We're going to be looking for a potential higher low to form on the weekly again. Same thing that we've been doing this entire time, right? We're just going to look for that uptrend to continue, and this will become our new weekly invalidation. Okay, so for now it looks good. I think that there's no reason to be bearish here unless for some reason this weekly candle ends up getting quite ugly and like closes like well back below these highs. Then maybe we're going to rotate down and actually get that sweep that I wanted earlier. But other than that, for now, it looks really good. So we want to see one of two things happen. We either want to see Bitcoin break out here exponentially, right? Significant higher high. Awesome. I'm now going to be expecting Bitcoin to chill, pull back a little, and I want to be looking for other opportunities down the risk curve. Alternatively, if Bitcoin falls back within this range here, right, that actually might tell me that we have a mini alt window here in the making, right? Where, hey, if Bitcoin's going to go sideways, I mean, look at ETH, maybe there's an alt window, an alt rotation that we can make. So either way, I'm bullish. I think this is the time to focus on momentum, right? If Bitcoin's got the momentum here, we're going to focus on Bitcoin, then ETH, right, and Sol. If Bitcoin kind of stagnates a little bit and is like, hey, it's actually not quite ready to break out of this range, it might make more sense to look at alts further down the risk curve. Either way, we have some new info. Let's see. Now, is there a bearish argument here? To me, again, the only bearish argument is like if for some reason this starts to look ugly, like really ugly. Like we get a big nuke tomorrow and the next day, and Bitcoin's now, trading back below these highs, then I might be like, meh. So I think a pretty good level here for the bulls is like right here. It's like where is it? 117 is the level I want. It's like right around here. Right? Like I don't really want to see us closing back below
Token
this
M.
level. So if we're going to go here, we're going to do this. I think this is okay for alts, right? If we just do this, I think this is good for everything and then consolidate. That's good for alts. But if we like do this and then get back below here, okay, that then looks kind of ugly. Then maybe we're going to take out this and maybe even this. But I put this on low odds. I think it's higher odds that we either do this and then go up, or we just go up from here. I think those are the two most likely scenarios. The least likely scenario is like something like this, right? Which I don't know. I think it's just a lot less likely running one of these two lows and then getting the rally. It's still possible, but I think it's the least likely of the scenarios. So we've got some new information. It is only Monday, right? But let's wait and see what price tells us over the next couple of days. My plan last week was right. My execution was shit. I need to see what this week gives to have a new plan. But overall, Q4 is generally bullish. I've been telling you guys for many, many months, I don't believe the bull market's over. I think Q4, we have significantly new all-time highs. The question is this the beginning of a parabolic leg for Bitcoin, or is there still a little more, fuckery at the start of the quarter? But I ultimately think we're going to have a significantly higher Bitcoin price at the end of Q4 than we have right now. And we're at all-time high right now. Like, I think 140, 150 this quarter is absolutely doable, maybe even higher, okay? So let me be abundantly clear about that. Now, I'm not going to cover a lot of other stuff in this video about price specifically, because I want to just see a little bit more from Bitcoin here, give me a little bit more info, maybe another day's price action before I start making a decision. That being said, I want to cover this tweet. So I quote tweeted this. I said, hey, watch this before tonight's video. I'm going to cover it. Now, this is something I tweeted about today as well, being like, hey, where does price go to? How do we trade price discovery? I tweeted this a year ago, basically, October 31st on Halloween of last year when we were breaking out of all-time high, right? So go back to October 31st of 2024. We were making new all-time highs. So what was everyone doing? Right? What was everyone doing? Everyone was probably out in their costumes, fucking around, doing fucking drinking and drugging and all sorts of shit, getting candy and just up to hijinks. And what was your boy Maine doing? He had a Spider-Man mask on and he live streamed for you for 2 hours. And then he wrote you this very thoughtful thread. Because I'm always grinding, no matter the day. All right, but anyways, this tweet is, I'm so stupid. This tweet is still relevant now as it was a year ago. So we're at price discovery again. What happens when we get into price discovery? First thing is hopium and euphoria everywhere. Just a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, okay, people were on Ansem's side. All the people clowning on Ansem right now, many of them were on his side here saying, yeah, looks fucked, Ansem's right, we're going down. Just 2 weeks ago. Now we're at $20,000 higher. Everyone's calling Ansem a retard and calling for fucking 500K Bitcoin. Okay, so you're going to see euphoria and hopium. This is completely normal. And I don't blame you. We're at $125,000 per Bitcoin. You should be excited, right? This is what we're here for, okay? But try not to get caught up in it. I'm going to be a bit of a curmudgeon, and it's going to be for your guys' benefit, because I want to make sure that you guys maximize as much of your bull market gains as possible. I am a believer in the 4-year cycle. Could I be wrong? Sure. But at the end of the day, we're not early, in my opinion. Maybe we go to 1 million in the next 6 months and I'm retarded. But even if we do, right, like going to 1 million from here is like only slightly more of a gain than November 2022 to now, right? So like no matter how you look at it, like, do I think we go to 1 million this cycle? No. But let's say we go to 400K, which would be unbelievable. 300K. That's like a little over a 2x from here. We were at 15K in November 2022. We're almost a 10x there in the last, like, just under 3 years. So the lion's share of the move has already happened. Maybe the blow-off parabolic top hasn't happened yet, but in terms of the raw percent gain for Bitcoin, the most of the juice has been squeezed already, in my opinion. And I think most logical people would probably agree. But that's not what you're going to hear on Twitter, right? You're going to hear it's just getting started, right, with the orangey meme. It's just getting started. And I'm not saying that we can't have this parabolic leg in alt season. I think those things are yet to come. I think they're coming. Just saying, we're closer to the end than the beginning. So you have to temper that euphoria and that hopium. And don't get too caught up in it, because 2 weeks ago everyone's crying. Now everyone's calling for $1 million Bitcoin, and the fucking stock market's all-time highs, new paradigm, blah, blah, blah. Your goal here is to make money, okay? I have Bitcoin I'll never sell, okay? But the stuff that I am actively trading, I want to make sure that I don't give back a bunch of the gains that I've gotten on my trading portfolio over the last 3 years in the last 3 months of the cycle. You know what I mean? Because when the top is in, right? When the top is in, it's in, and it ends fast, and it can get ugly. And like, man, imagine if you didn't sell any here, and then, like, you know, a month goes by, and we're now like 40% off the highs already, and you're like, fuck, dude, I had this much back then, I need it to bounce, I can't get out. I would much rather sell on the way up, right? And even if it keeps going higher, like, I don't care. I'm here to lock in that money and then rotate a lot of that money just into fucking equities, Bitcoin, stuff that I'm holding for the long term, and then just continue to do that. That's how you get rich, is compounding over time. A lot of people think you can get rich buying a meme coin, gambling. Like, that's buying a lottery ticket. Most of those people who get rich quick give it back quick. It's very rare that these people who win the lottery on these meme coins keep it all. The way to build sustainable wealth, longevity in this game, is compounding your gains over time, okay? So I don't want you to get caught up in the hopium, because there's no way anyone can accurately predict where this cycle is going to end. Timing-wise, we can say, okay, 4-year cycle, we're coming up on that, but maybe it's different. Maybe this new institutional aspect and the regulatory environment in the U.S. means that the 4-year cycle's done. We do not know for sure. It's just as likely that it is done as it isn't done. You know what I mean? It's a coin flip. We don't know. There's no way to accurately predict where the top's going to be price-wise. It's impossible. People will use fibs, can help. They'll use fucking GAN fucking stuff. They'll use Elliott wave stuff. No one knows. One person, few people, they'll have projected some random fib out of the thousands that they've projected and deleted and not told you about. They'll be like, oh, see, I nailed the top by using this. And but that doesn't mean, like, that doesn't mean that it's actually accurate. It could be luck, right? You know what I mean? It's an educated guess at best, and it's a pure guess, pure gamble at worst, okay? So to avoid falling prey to this euphoria that we're going to see, these crazy price targets are always going to start coming out. You got to have a plan. We want to make sure we have a plan to exit and maximize our gains and minimize the amount we give back. You're never going to exit at the top, and you're never going to exit at the peak portfolio value, right? Like, you're going to sell, and then, oh, if I would have held, I would have had more money. You're going to not sell, and then you're like, fuck, if I would have sold, I would have had more money. So eliminate those ideas from your mind. You're not going to sell the top, just like you're not going to buy the bottom. And you're not going to realize that the maximum peak portfolio level. It's just not going to happen, okay? So you need to have a plan. So this is how I do it. This is how I've been doing it for multiple cycles now, and I'm sharing it with you, and I'm going to explain it to you here in a video, and I think it's very important. Because once price tops and it distributes, it ends quickly, right? The 2017 cycle, 3 weeks, we were at the top, basically. We went from like 10 to 20K, and then within like a week and a half after that, we're down 50% off all-time high. Okay, very quickly. The 2021 cycle, we had a 3-month period where Bitcoin distributed between kind of 50 and 70K, and then it had a 50% drop quickly after. Altcoins got smoked. Then we had that second run where it had a 50-day distribution period time, and then shortly after that, it's down 50%, and then it went going down even more, right? So once it's in hard, and you want to make sure that you're not holding the bag here, because those altcoins that you held, that crypto you held, that money you made on the way here, you've given back a ton of it in a very short period of time. So how do we actually maximize the top? And I don't want this to be like a bearish video. I'm bullish. I think we go higher. I don't think it's over. I still think we get an alt season. I'm just saying you got to have a plan to exit, because it's way easier to think about your exit plan now than it is to think about it when everything is screaming higher. Everyone's telling you it's up only, new paradigm. Your portfolio is at all-time high. It's alt season. It's way harder to think about selling then. It's way easier to have that plan now. And then the hardest part, even if you have a plan, is sticking fucking to it, okay? So this is what I do. I have 3 things that I do. The first thing is I use market structure, okay? Once the daily market structure broke in both 2017 and 2021, the top was in, okay? Here's the 2017 bull run. This is your daily higher low, your daily higher low, your daily higher low, your daily higher low. Once this broke, the top was in. This broke, it was in. It went down 80+% after that, okay? This is your daily higher low here in the 2021 bull run. Once this got broke, we nuked 60%. Here's your daily higher low. Once this broke, we nuked 70, 80%. Now, the problem with using just the daily chart is sometimes this isn't going to work, okay? So during this last cycle, we had multiple instances where the daily low, okay, broke, but the market cycle was not over, right? Like we had a daily structure break here, but the price went on and made new highs, right? We had a daily structure break in this consolidation here, right? Yes, it did pull back, but then we went on and made new highs, and the same thing here. So maybe the daily's too low of a time frame, because remember, the daily is going to go bearish before the weekly does, right? Before the 3-day does. Absolutely before the monthly does, right? But the problem is the daily can have some noise. So the daily might flip bearish, the 3-day is still bullish, right? And then the daily flips bullish again, and prices go higher. And you're going to be like, well, I sold all my shit on the daily. So what are your options? Option number 1 is you use a higher time frame, like the 3-day. The 3-day is going to confirm more slowly, but it's a much more confident break, right? The 3-day structure breaks, that's a lot more, more of a major sign that the top might be in, and that worked in the last 2 cycles. But again, in this cycle, we had a 3-day structure break, more than one of them, but then it reclaimed. So I think the 3-day or the weekly even are better barometers. Like we've never broken weekly structure this entire bull run, never once. Now the problem with using something like the weekly structure is right now the weekly structure is here. Are you really going to want to wait all the way down here before being like, oh, fuck, the top was in? That's the risky one with using the high time frame. But it's not a be-all, end-all. You're going to use all these things I'm about to explain with you in conjunction with each other and form a system and a plan. So use some sort of high time frame market structure. Realize that there will be false breaks. The way you deal with false breaks is you combine the high time frame with the low time frame. Okay, the daily flipped bearish, but let's see what the 3-day does. Oh, it's holding bullish. And then be willing to adjust your bias. If the 3-day flips bearish, right, you might say, okay, the 3-day has flipped bearish here. I'm going to be bearish until it is reclaimed. Okay, now I'm bullish again. So yeah, you missed out on, a little bit of an up move by maybe buying back here, but you protected yourself from this downside because this could have gotten worse. So you have to have that flexibility. It can't be like the 3 days bearish, I'm selling all of my spot and I'm never buying back. If the 3-day flips bearish and you sell some spot and then it reclaims, get back in. You have new information, new data. Be fluid, okay? But this is a very good, at least technical barometer. are we maintaining bullish market structure? Because we don't have old support and resistance levels when we're up here. All we have is market structure, right? Is it making higher highs and higher lows still?
Token M.
Yes. Okay, now it's not. Okay, maybe now the top might be in. What other things can I look at? So that's number one. The second thing is portfolio targets. This one's pretty straightforward. I imagine when you started this bull run, when you got involved in crypto, you had targets in mind, whether it's an amount of Bitcoin you wanted to own or just straight up how much money you wanted to have. Let's say you had 100K, you know, and at the start of the bull run, you're like, God, if I could get this to 500, I'm going to be so happy. This will change my life, right? Let's say you got 500 now. Are you still thinking the same way you were back then when you made that goal? Of course not. Dude, we're at all-time high right now. Like, we're just getting started. Everyone on Twitter says we're going higher. Q4 is the most bullish quarter. Why would I sell now? You've completely forgotten that a year ago, 2 years ago, you would have killed to be in this position now. So I'm not saying you have to adhere to this target 100%. I hit 500K, I'm sorry, I got to sell. I got to be out. You are seeing some people do that, saying, hey, I hit my number, I'm out. I don't care what happens from here. That's hard to do because you run the risk of, oh man, if I would have held, it would have been $1 million. So I'm not saying you have to adhere to this strictly, but if your goal at the start of this was 500K, you would have been so happy, over the moon, ecstatic. Are you at least not taking some profit? Maybe you just rotate it into spot BTC. You don't even have to exit the market fully. And it's not like you can't keep trading, but if you hit that target you set at the beginning, you've got to at least realize some. Maybe even just your initial, or take out 200K. Okay, I've doubled my initial. I don't think it's over. I'm going to let it ride with the extra 300K. You're playing with house money now. Maybe you're right. It becomes even more. But if you're wrong, at least you've secured some profits, right? So have these goals in mind, and you got to start. These goals are pointless if you don't adhere to them. It's pointless to write your goals down in your fucking journal if when they happen, you don't adhere to them. And it's way easier to think about this right now, because things aren't even crazy yet, than it will be when things are manic. Because at one point, this 100K might be, you know, your goal's at 500. Well, it might be at fucking 750. And you're like, well, fuck, that $1 million is so close, man. It's so close. But then it goes to 650. It's okay. I only wanted 500 anyways. I'm going to keep holding. And then it's 450. Fuck. Well, it's going to bounce back up to 500, and then I'm going to exit. And then you're 400. All of a sudden, you've round-tripped 350 grand, okay? So I'm not saying you got to sell it all at this portfolio target, but maybe you say, okay, you know what? I've had my 100 turn into 5. I'm going to take out my initial. I'm going to take out 100. And then with the remaining 400, I'm going to use the market structure, and as long as we're in bullish market structure, I'm going to stay in. This is what I mean by using these things together, okay? Not in a vacuum. So if you had goals, go back and look at them. Because you might have $1 million now, and you're like, dude, it's like, this is going to be 2 million soon. Bitcoin's doubling. I'm going to double my money. But a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you would have killed to have that money now. The risk reward right now is not as good as it was 2 years ago. It's just not. I don't care how high Bitcoin goes. You can go 500K. That's still a shittier risk reward than it was when it was fucking 15K 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Okay? So keep that in mind. Have those portfolio targets. And if you hit them, at least consider. I can't make you take profit. It's your money. Do whatever you want. You want to ride it till the wheels fall off? Trust me, I've been there. I've done it with mixed success. Okay? I'll leave that up to you. So yeah, have portfolio targets. Try to at least adhere to them somewhat, or keep it in the back of your mind. Try and put yourself in your shoes of the person back then when you made that goal, right? Lastly is price targets. So I've always erred on the conservative side. Now this is complete guesswork. No one knows where the market's going to talk. We don't. It's guess. You can use fibs. You can do all sorts of stuff. I talked a bit about that in some tweets today. How to use fibs, to use standard deviations, things like that to predict where price might go to. It's complete guesswork. I've always erred on the conservative side. In 2017, bull market, I started selling my Bitcoin once we got above 10K. Because I bought that Bitcoin under $1,000, and the idea that it would go to 10K didn't even compute to me. I didn't sell it at 17, 18, 19, 20K. As a test, it didn't actually hit 20K. Hit like 19, whatever. Yeah, I was early. But you know what? When it crashed back down to $300, do you not think I was pretty happy that I sold above 10K? You bet. In 2021, I was selling once we hit 40K. That was the target I had set when I was buying, again, really cheap Bitcoin, right? So if you go back, I was buying Bitcoin, sorry, not under 300, excuse me, it went under 3,000 again, right? So this bull run here, right? I was selling on the way up here. I didn't sell here. I was selling on the way up here. And then this bull run here, when I was buying here, I bought here, and I bought like here, and on the way up, I was selling this shit once we got into here. I had a little bit left here. I'm not talking about my cold storage shit. I'm talking about like, you know, active trading port, but I wasn't fucking selling the top here. I was out most of my spot before then. And do you think I was upset when it went from, you know, I was selling at 40, 50, when it went to almost 70? Yeah. But when it went all the way back down to 15, you think I was happy? Of course, right? Of course. So I would rather be out early. And just because you sell, it doesn't mean I wasn't trading here. Longing and shorting with leverage, trading altcoins and all of this price action. Of course I was. Right? Of course I was. You can still participate in the market. It's not like when you take some profit, all of a sudden you're out, you're done, you can never trade again. Right? It's another stupid thing on fucking Twitter. Oh my god, he shorted. He's broke forever, and now he can never long again because he shorted.
Token P.
Alright? So, no, I didn't nail the top. But I was pretty close, and when price started trading 50% lower than where I fucking sold, I felt pretty smart. So, you got to keep in mind, I was very fortunate. I bought near the bear market lows over those last two cycles. So, where I sold was like a 10x on where I bought. Okay? The price is not probably going to 10x from here. I don't think. I think it's a pretty safe assumption. Could go to 500K. It'd be amazing. But I don't think we're going to go to 1 million this cycle. Do I think we go to 1 million eventually? Yes. But this go around, I don't know. But price is almost 10x from the bottom already. So you got to start thinking, okay, how much higher can it go? How much more is the RR from here upside? I don't know. Right? I told myself, and again, a risk with this price target thing is, let's say you think Bitcoin goes to, let's say this is a 200K. Let's say it goes to here. Do you never sell? Well, it didn't hit 200K. I'll just wait. It's going to bounce. Get going. Now it's at fucking back at 100, right? And up here it was at 180. Like, did you just never sell? Because it never hit your price target? So again, none of these three things I've shared, market structure, portfolio targets, price targets, can be used in a vacuum. They need to be used in unison. Okay, well, it's at 180. You know, my target's 200. Right? Oh, that was stupid. My target's 200. Okay, it's at 180. My portfolio hit 500K, which was my goal, and now it's made a lower low on the weekly. Am I just going to not take profit because it didn't hit this? Well, no, maybe I'm using the combination. Okay, well, market structure broke. I did hit my portfolio goal, so I'm going to sell some. I'm going to take some profit, right? So you use these things all together, because any of these single things on their own might not work, right? Market structure might flip bearish. You sell, and then it reclaims. And so if you're not being agile there, willing to buy back in, like, what the fuck? You might have a portfolio go of 500K, and it never hits it. It hits 490, right? Do you just never sell because it never hit 500? You might have a target of 200K for price, and it only comes to 180. Does that mean you never sell? So you use these things together, and if you do it properly, like I'm explaining here, you're going to realize some profits. And no, you're not going to sell the exact top. You're not going to sell at your exact all-time high portfolio. You're not going to, sell at the perfect time before structure breaks or it hits your number that you thought it might hit. But you'll be close. And when it all unravels, which it generally does, you're going to probably be pretty happy that you took those profits and you had that plan versus never actually sticking to your plan, having no plan at all, and then all of a sudden we're 50% off all-time high, and you're dreaming, wishing, praying that you could go back in time and sell a little bit more, okay? That's all I'm trying to prepare you for here. And I'm not saying that this is happening tomorrow, but I believe we're closer to the beginning than we are the end. I think this information is very relevant, and I think you should have a plan if you don't have one already, and you'll be very happy you do. I learned this the hard way, okay? In 2013-14, I should be a billionaire, okay? Like, in 2013-2014, if I showed you how much crypto I imploded, evaporated, learning the stuff I know now, even in 2017, I wasn't very good. 2021, I did pretty good, other than trusting Sam, but, you know, me. Like, it would make you puke. I try not to think about it because I don't feel like puking right now, okay? So I learned this stuff the hard way. I'm trying to save you from making some likely very costly mistakes. Because if you're like me and you think Bitcoin goes to $1 million one day, keeping one extra Bitcoin today is $1 million more that you would have. You know what I mean? Even though it's only 100K, 125K right now. So I'm just trying to share my experience that I learned the hard way. Many of you have already learned the hard way. Many of you might have to learn the hard way for this to stick in. I can preach this till the cows come home and you're not going to listen, and you're going to have to make the mistake yourself, and that's okay as long as you learn from it. Okay? So in summary, right, the beauty of the above rules is you use them in unison, right? Just because you exit spot, it doesn't mean that you're locked out of the market. You can't continue to trade. You can. Ignore what the people online say. You can keep trading, even if you sell your spot. You know, for some reason, we break market structure with a nuke, but then reclaim it, get back in. If you want to lock in gains and then buy back higher, that's probably smarter than not selling on a break of structure and risking maybe a 50% drop. Right? Like if we would have just reclaimed this and made a new all-time high, but you sold here, and then you bought back here, losing this gain is better than holding for this potential fucking loss. You know what I mean? All right? And again, I didn't sell the exact top, and prices kept going up after I sold. And I felt FOMO. And that went away when price nuked, not that long after, okay? You don't need to sell the top. You just want to be close. This is just my opinion. I'm making a video. This is just my opinion. I'm not perfect, okay? I'm just sharing what's worked for me over the last couple of cycles. And I'm probably a lot more conservative than most people. I don't need a 1,000x, 100x to make it. I already have, right? I'm not trying to say that as a dunk, even though it is. Okay? I'm rich. But like I am definitely more on the conservative side, so I'm putting that fucking out there. But again, I believe wealth is built through compounding over time, consistently. Then this is a year ago, by the way. I said for what it's worth, I think on the low end we at least get to 100 and 110K. Hit that. Said high end maybe as high as 150K. Haven't hit that yet, but you know, seeing how things look now, I do think that 150K, maybe even beyond, is completely possible. So we'll see how accurate those predictions were. But again, they were predictions. So yeah, I'm excited. This is not meant to be a bearish post or a bearish video. This is just to say, hey, here's what I've learned, what's worked for me. I want to make sure you guys walk away from this with more money than you had at the start. So then when we do inevitably get some sort of big correction, because it's going to happen, maybe we don't get an 80% bear market, but maybe we get a 50% pullback. I want you to have more money to buy that dip with than you do now. And then I want you to do it again and again, okay? And then I'll welcome you into the Citadel with me with open arms. If you think I'm stupid and you don't care, then fucking, do you. I'm not perfect. I'm more conservative. I've made mistakes, but I think many of you, this might be your first cycle. This might be your first cycle with money, like actual big boy money on the line. I'm just letting you know what's worked for me in the past and what's helped me get to where I am. So yeah, I know a bit of a longer video, a bit ranty, but I think it's very important, and I hope you guys enjoy it. As always, if you want to support me, all my bullshit's in the description. Breakout prop code is MAIN for a discount. The Haven's down there. IMG indicators down there. My ref links are down there. If you don't want to pay me, these videos are free. They always have been. Over 1,000 of them on YouTube at this point, going back years. If you don't